Good evening and welcome to the Psych Call Shop. I'm Aeson Knight, and of course, I'm sitting down with another author who's written an interesting book. So, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I'm Karoleen Fober. I have been psychic probably my whole life, like we all are, but you might understand that somewhere between the ages 6 and 8, a lot of people let go of their spiritual communication. But I didn't. I kept quiet about it, but it was alive and well, and it was very helpful throughout my life. I wrote a book called Opening to Divine Intervention because I was given a reading, a divine reading, 25 years ago. And that message was, you are going to write a book and it's going to be important for the world. It took 18 years to even know what I was supposed to write about. And I was so overwhelmed when I got that reading that I kind of went into shock. And so it was a long journey, but through time, I had all of these divine interventions. And so in 2018, I began to write them down. And then my mediumship really started expanding. And so the book is really about inviting people to reconnect with their spiritual communication, and many people do, and use it for your benefit. And
Why do
so,
you think that, around that age of like 6 or 7, they stop
yeah.
connecting with their imaginary friends, aka spirit guides, aka divine angels, whatever marketing title they're slapping on within this, what, cycles every 6 months, they come out with a new one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really think that culturally, I had never heard of the word, intuition until I was probably in my 20s.
Mhm.
Nobody was talking about all of this. I was raised a Methodist, and we were kind of doing the quiet walk with Jesus, and
Mhm.
everybody was not talking about all the divine intervention and their inklings.
Mhm.
Um, but when I was 8, in third grade, I realized that something was going on with me. And a kid was talking about what had happened to him that weekend. And about 10 of us were standing around. And he
Mhm.
said, and then you know what happened? And told him what happened.
Mhm.
And he looked at me and he said, how do you know that? And I looked around like, why doesn't everybody else know this? And
Right.
so I went, kind of underground, but I thought, well, this is cool. Um, and so I'd always felt a divine presence of love, guidance, and protection. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I was just somebody that loved it so much, I wasn't willing to give it up. And I think
Mhm.
kids at that age, too, if you don't get, it's like, let's say you're born in Russia, and then at
Mhm.
2, you move to the United States
Right.
and nobody's talking the language. So our spiritual language we are born with.
Mhm.
I believe we are spiritual beings in this body for
Mhm.
now. And so it's our original language. And so when I teach this, I teach people to open and activate and to get better and better at getting their messages. And people do it. And so I didn't know if I could teach it, but I got messages that I could. And so people started coming out of the woodwork, and it's been really amazing.
So how bad was that timeline?
How about was what?
How bad was that timeline? What I mean by that
Oh,
is, the reading set off this 8. Listen to this, y'all, that call me and think that I'm gonna fix your word in 3 days. 18 years later.
yeah. And that's why it's a process. And I always tell, for me, I do, refer to the divine realm as God, the creator. We have a creator, whatever anyone wants to call that.
Mhm.
And I call it the spiritual realm. I'm very convinced we all have a spiritual team made up of lots of guides, angels, um, and they're at work for us. And so I just feel like um, we really should give it preference. So I tell people, they go, well, I mean, is this something that goes on all the time? I said, I feel like I have a channel, let's say a radio channel that's always open, and I
Mhm.
am connected to it, and I hear things. I get messages visually. I get messages where I feel it. in your body. And then I feel like I know it. And those 4 are what most people can also get. Number 1 is the feeling. You're going to feel it in your body many times.
Mm-hmm.
I've even read about the angels. It's the easiest way for people to get their messages. But also we do have, the nose, the smelling. And
Mm-hmm.
my mom wants to connect with me. I do smell her cherry pies coming right out of that oven. It's
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Now, taste
What?
is also something. So if I ever got involved with, let's say, a case where there was an accident or something, and you've read about people tasting,
Mm-hmm.
that's also available too. But primarily the 4, the knowing,
Right.
the hearing, the seeing, and the feeling.
Right. And they play on all our senses. Point
Yes.
blank, the guides do.
Yes.
Now, my guy, okay, there's a message I've been trying to get out there for a while now. And that is the guides do not sit around on fluffy clouds and they're all like love and light and, oh, you're going to be such a good. No, he's going to be going, get your ass up. We've got work to do. Come on.
Yeah. And it's funny because some people, I've even read this, they say, oh, if it's not divine, if it's loud. Well, let me tell you something. You're going to get some of them that are whispers, the messages,
Mm-hmm.
but some of these messages are loud. I remember after my mom died, and I was back and forth. Do I buy her house? Do I buy my siblings out? I mean, I love that house. My
Mm-hmm.
grandma lived in it too. And I heard clear as a bell, and I usually hear on my right side, it
Mm-hmm.
was like, no. And I
Right.
said, thank you, because I really was torn.
Right. See, and this is the cross example of why I'm liking to compare the guides here. Mine would be like, are you fucking stupid?
Yeah.
You hate that house. It's got more energy crap stuck in it and bad memories than you ever need. And don't even get me started on the cost of building your office.
Exactly. And I had a fun experience. I had talked with another medium before I was really kind of going with my own. And she talked about having, that you can find out let's say your main guide's name. And I thought that was so cool. So one day I had nothing better to do. I was in my office laying on the couch and I just said, what is your name? Okay. All of a sudden I saw letters in black and 10 form about that
Mm-hmm.
big coming across towards me right in front of me. And it was like, as I saw them, it felt like they were stamping me right on the
Mm-hmm.
forehead with those letters. And it said Florence, Florenc, just like that.
Right.
So they're going to communicate however they want to. People
Right.
say, well, I was actually talking to my husband today and I said, you know what I really think is people's issue is they want it their way. And I said, no, you're going to get these messages the way they're given. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
why so many people act like they're not getting them because they think, no, I need to see an angel. It's like, hey, you do not control this.
Or they need to see an angel. That's cute. So they go, they sit at a bus stop. A woman comes, sits down, talks to them, got shopping bags and umbrella and everything else. Talking about buy, whatever. They share their problem with them. She gives them advice. Bus comes, she takes her stuff, dawdles on off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I never saw an angel. Hello?
Yeah.
Did you need a brick house?
Yeah. People need a lot. It's almost like prove it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I had a client and, he's a devout Catholic and, but it's like he's joking about it all. Like, I believe, but then he acts like it's a big joke. And I said, mm-mm. Anyway, after that call, I was walking through my condo and I was frustrated because, it's like people just can be so blocked about it. They're not open.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was walking through and I was just frustrated. And I looked up and I saw what looked to me like Jesus. And guess what he was saying to me? How many examples do they need? And I went, that's exactly how I feel. And then, I didn't see it anymore, but I felt, there's the kindred feeling. It's like how
Mm-hmm.
the people will just poo-poo everything, and I go, well, fine, you're not going to get your messages then.
Or what I do is what I call knock their socks off. And it's my God has gotten pissed off at this client. He is tired. Like one of my famous experiences. I done a party. I think we done like 200 and some readings that night.
Wow.
Dude comes in. He doesn't want a reading. It's evident he don't believe crap. But his wife wanted him enough reading. So I sat there and just read him for filth.
Yeah.
Read him for pure filth, told him what to do, how to do, what to do, where to go. That man is one of my best clients.
Wow.
And it's just like, I don't care if you say go cut my hair, I'm going to go cut my hair.
And that's the excitement about it. I think we're all the people like you and me that decide to go ahead and share these gifts because they are helpful.
Right.
And I think it can be a real game changer. It can change somebody's life like it did mine. I was so depressed after my mom died. Except for my, clients and working and my grandkids, I was barely getting out of bed, and I was desperate, and I just I didn't know if it was a good idea, but I said I'm going to get on a plane and fly to Teresa Caputo out east. And then I saw on her webpage it was going to be 2 years, and I said I don't have 2 years. And so then I just said, God, you're going to have to find one for me. And within 2 weeks, one appeared. And so we're really being helped if we'll just be open to it.
Right. And it's like, I don't know. I know you've sat through these marketing seminars when they're like, you got to do this and this and this and this. And it's like, no. My clients will find me.
Yes. Or, and what I do is, and when I was a financial advisor, I would say in the morning, I would say, who am I supposed to call today? And I get usually, a couple names. I would always call them. And my clients would say, I just be honest. I say, I don't know why I'm calling, but your name popped in, and they'll say, oh my gosh, I have a CD due, or my brother-in-law just died, and just a connection. And so I don't question. That's the piece that I learned, to not question the messages. And boy, that, as you know, it's so helpful. It's like, wow, I don't know what other people are doing. That's why I tell people, my clients, I say, what most people, if you don't know how to manifest, and if you're not using your intuition and getting messages, you're working way too hard.
Well, you are. And I don't know, there's some in this business I think are working way too hard too.
Yeah.
Because, people hear like, you done 200 readings. I was like, yeah, no, it's about 6 hours. And they're like, what? I was fucking.
It's like
sideways, but that's because most of the clients were drunk, not me.
Oh.
But I wasn't tired at all.
You know why? And you do know why. It's like, it's so life-giving. I mean,
exactly.
The first time I really denied my mediumship. I knew stuff my whole life, but the mediumship came after my mom died, and I had the reading, and because I was so depressed. And after the reading, she said, you're just like me. I go, I really don't think I am. I was in denial. And I said, but if I were, what would I do to expand? And she said, oh, meditate. Well, I started meditating about an hour or two every day, just in the morning. Whether I'd fall asleep or not, I get, how you wake up at 5:36, but you don't have to get up. So I just lay there and meditate. And within a couple months, I started doing, the mediumship came through just like that. Because I was open to it, and I was I love meditation because it cuts the resistance. It just relaxes you and keeps you open. And so I didn't even think I was. So I understand when people act like they can't do it. That's why I like teaching them, because I know where you're coming from. I was similar. But then I really got confident, and that next year or so, I did a holistic health fair, and I did 14 readings, mini readings, in
Mm-hmm.
like in 3 or 4 hours, and
Mm-hmm.
it was thrilling. I was having the
Yeah.
time of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get on what I call it the alpha wave. Once you get on that
Yes.
alpha wave, it's just like thumpa 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 thump, because spirit moves like
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
And we're down here having to slow it down and go, all right, this is what the message is. And they're already 10 pages past where we're at with this is the answer.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, you really have to surrender, because you're going to, as you probably have gotten, you get some
Mm-hmm.
crazy messages. And I
Oh yeah.
remember I felt like I was being tested. I was at a party, and this woman was talking to me, and she was like a little scared. She goes, "I don't want any bad news." I said, "Well,
Mm-hmm.
okay." I said, "I don't usually get any bad news, but I said, sometimes you're going to get information that wants you to grow. And that can be, you have to
Mm-hmm.
change." But I said, and so we were at a party. So she was talking to somebody else. Well, right when she started talking to somebody else, I saw an older woman
Mm-hmm.
with a pair of tweezers
Mm-hmm.
and a glass to look. And she was like, get my chin hairs out. And I thought, oh, there's no way I'm going to tell her that this is
Right.
happening, because I was kind of embarrassed. I said, I don't think I'm going to tell her what I just saw. So I thought, okay, this lady can go now. But the woman in the vision, but the
Mm-hmm.
person at the party, she stopped talking to the other person. She came back to me, and she just said, you know what the funniest thing my mom used to do? And I go, no, what? She said, I'd barely get in the door. She had a pair of tweezers. She had her chin stuck out and the magnifying glass. And she goes, honey, get my hairs up out of my chin. I said,
Mm-hmm.
holy mother of God. And that told me right there, stop second guessing yourself, Karoleen,
Right.
because that was a clear message. And we both were laughing our heads off.
Right. And it's always that way, and you can't second guess. Some of the things that come out of my mouth, I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Right.
Because once in a while I'll pop in to see what the hell I'm saying, and it's like, you don't know shit about a transmission, and you're sitting here describing the valve thingamabajiggle, and I'm like, okay, fine, David. That's interesting. Let me know when we start rebuilding cars for a fun habit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people, they look at me like, I don't know. And I go, this is why I teach. This is why I'm out here doing this. Why I wrote the book, because I want everybody to open up and have these amazing kinds of experiences, because, I wasn't planning on writing a book.
Right.
But when I started realizing that, okay, this is what this is about. These are the most amazing experiences of my life. I have,
Right.
We all have family, we all have friends, but these are things that I put in a separate category. And these to me are, miraculous.
Right. And it is miraculous. It is amazing from the outsider's perspective.
Yes.
From the insider, when we get used to it,
it's every day.
It's every day. It's every piece of every day.
And that's why it's effortless.
Yeah, it is effortless for us. But switching those gears to teaching someone, oh my God, honey, that is like trying to back engineer how you do something.
Well, I'm a teacher.
Is like nature. That's like natural to you.
Yeah, well, I'm a teacher. I have a degree from Iowa State University, and I taught preschool handicap kids. So I'm just a teacher through and through. And so when I do a reading, I'm telling them what's happening to me. And here's what's interesting and exciting to me. When I'm doing the reading and I'm teaching, and I'll ask them questions like, do you feel anything in your body? Are you feeling what I'm feeling as they go through my body, and that electromagnetic, yummy feeling, that tingling?
Yeah.
I ask them. So I'm in there to let them feel whatever they can feel. After every reading, every and I do ask, they
Mm-hmm.
all say that they feel like they've expanded. One, they're not scared. Two, they feel more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They have shared with me. I've asked questions. Let's say they've
Mm-hmm.
lost a son. I say, do you have messages from them? Do you feel like they're in certain parts of the house? And they'll say, yes, I feel like he's always coming to the back porch. I said,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. So I make it very simple, but
Mm-hmm.
I love the teaching part because I want it for them. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's such a big desire for me that I kind of love the teaching part, and it
Right.
kind of sets me apart. Not
Right.
everybody's going to be a teacher.
No, not everyone's going to be a teacher. Not everyone's going to be a podcast host. None of that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about clients. How do you set your boundaries with your clients?
Well, I've been coaching people since 2001. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
coaching a long time. Um, Boundaries, I mean, I've, I don't know. I don't know if I say, hey, we're going to, this is our time. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Basically, I usually have people tell me their goals right off the bat
Mm-hmm.
because I work with people, we're doubling their income because
Right.
I'm teaching them to utilize not only their intuition and messages, but how to manifest. Everybody's
Right.
screwing up manifesting. It's
They
like
are. They're making it
it's,
difficult.
well, yeah, and they're driving backwards instead of forward. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to clean all of that up. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing it such a long time that I have a lot of fun and I just
Mm-hmm.
call them on it. The one thing I will say is I'm a trained coach as well, business
Right.
and life mastery coach. So I've learned all of the skills. So it's like, oh yeah, you may only have 30, 45 minutes. So I interrupt people when they're doing
Mm-hmm.
something wrong. I say, no. So,
Right.
I'm actually teaching somebody. I tell everybody it's a system. I said,
Mm-hmm.
typing is a system. Your
Mm-hmm.
body works. There's all these systems in your body. Everything is a system. I said, if you're typing and you hit a T instead of an R, C-A-T instead of an R, they think you're going to be talking about your cat. So you need to stop doing all the slop. You need to stop being sloppy. And so
Mm-hmm.
I help them neaten up their skills so
Mm-hmm.
that they're prepared. In other words, and I try to tell them too, it's like if you're negative,
Mm-hmm.
you might as well go back to bed because
Right.
if you're negative, you're going to mess with the manifesting and the energy is going to be really hard to get the intuitive messages. And I just
Right.
say, so I said, and you can tell usually in about 20 minutes how somebody's negative, how they're talking. So I call them right on it. This is how I started my coaching career, even before the mediumship
Mm-hmm.
really got strong. And I knew right away I could hear, I could hear everything in their voice. I've always coached on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
not in person usually. And I can hear their confidence or not. So I can hear, I feel that energy. I can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically I take people, let's say they're making 100 grand. I go, I'm a rock and roller. And so,
Right.
I go, what's your goals? Well, I'd really like 10% increase. And I said, hey, just so you know, I don't get out of bed for 10%. We're going to double your income. I said, would you have a problem with that? So I get
Mm-hmm.
everybody, if it's a business and they are trying to, get clients
Right.
or whatever they're trying to do, if it's that, my goal is within 2 to 8 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
getting them to double their income, just like that.
Right. What do you think about these laws being pushed in Utah for coaches?
I don't know about I'm from,
Oh,
I live
okay.
in Iowa and Florida,
Right.
so I don't know about these laws for coaches.
Okay. So, I'm sure you're familiar with the connections issue. Jody Hildebrand and that whole thing that went down in Utah, and how she was like basically running a cult of child abuse
Oh,
through her
no,
coaching business. Okay.
I didn't know about that. No.
Okay. So currently in Utah, they are pushing for a law that if you're a coach, you have to be licensed by the state.
Oh, I had no idea. Iowa and Florida do not have those.
Yeah, not yet. This is a new thing, and I think that us as coaches need to be paying attention to
Okay,
that.
that's a good point.
Because there is no regulation right now. My coaching certificate, your coaching certificate, they're equal.
Yes.
But there's no there are bad coaches out there.
Absolutely.
Point blank, there is.
There's bad apples in every industry.
There's terrible apples in the psychic world. They've been there for 100 years, for thousands of years. We've been trying to burn them out, but that's the way it is.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on, the government entering in and actually basically giving recognition as soon as we go onto a registry or a board or whatever? That then gives us legitimacy. What's your thoughts there?
Wow. I mean, because I hadn't heard of it, I mean, I don't like government. The less government, the better in my mind, because I think people, for the most part, and I just feel like, yes, there are bad apples, and maybe this is leading to more rules. But my take on it is that, I mean, I remember when I first started coaching. I've been coaching a long time, 25 years. And, Thomas Leonard was looked at as the father of modern coaching. My training is from Coach University, the largest and oldest training coaching in the world. And so, I mean, I took 3 years of classes. So I feel like I kind of got the best. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I did a 3-month thing. And I go, oh, okay. And I don't have a judgment.
Oh, please, honey. Have you heard the 2-hour video they're selling on Udemy?
Okay. Right. So it's kind of like, I think it's a great thing maybe to even have more information out there for people to say, how long have you been coaching? What's your results? What's your training? How long have you been training? So
then check that training out.
Check the training out. But I haven't really thought about it because, but I will tell you this, there is an influx in coaching. Like everybody's a coach now. And I go, oh, okay, great.
It's the same thing we saw in the 90s, honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever they became everybody was a financial advisor.
Right.
23 and the financial advisor. I'm not letting them balance my bank account.
Right. And I'm a former financial advisor, by the way.
I know you are.
Yeah.
No, everyone went to either financial advisor or suddenly everyone was a tarot reader. And we see this in the metaphysical industry. Like the publishers, I love them to death for actually putting out mostly good stuff. But it's like they and I've seen this happen. They will, and this gets them in so much trouble. And of course, I've gotten students from this because they'll go do this bull, and it's like, come over here and actually fucking learn how to do this.
Yes. And I'm just going to introduce the pendulum. I mean, I just asked the pendulum, is this going to be a great client? If I don't know them, I'm going to ask some questions. Is this a great client for me? And so why not ask, is this a great doctor for me? I mean, I had to get a new doctor in the last couple of years, and it's like, wow, I'm going to use that pendulum and it reads energy. And so that's another tool a person could use because energy doesn't lie.
And it's a simple tool.
It's a simple tool.
Yeah.
And
if you need a class, there's a class on Patreon, on my Patreon you can go to. I'm sure you've got training classes. When's your classes opening up?
Well, I have I talk about how to use a pendulum in my book. I have an online program, Intuition Mastery Accelerator program. It's 15 modules where they can get videos of me and the PDF, the written content. And then I do individual clients and sometimes groups.
Right. And you can go, the website's in the chat, but in case you need it again, I'll go ahead and throw it out there. And it'll be in the description for our Spotify listeners. It's real simple. It's her name.com. Like most reputable people, we buy the .com. And with that, you've got a lot going on. You've got coaching programs that it sounds like it's like, don't come to me if you just want to sit there and whine. Like, that's not what this is for. This is for creating your masterpiece. And reprogramming the things that got programmed out of you, because in my opinion, they're not, that's just your imaginary friend. You're too old for that. I think this is where that channel of divine connection to source, whatever, starts getting ignored.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so the book that I have, there's a lot of even though I'm telling the stories, I'm telling you
Mm-hmm.
how I learned it, what I do. So the book is a great tool. And
Mm-hmm.
because I really feel if people have information, the more information they have, it's easier. And then my 5-step system in how to activate and how to
Mm-hmm.
start utilizing the tools and tips, that's also in there. I also describe the 15 types of divine intervention
Mm-hmm.
definitions that I kind of put together. Um,
Right.
because information is power. And so I could sit there and say, wow, I've had 450 divine experiences, but to help me decipher them all out, I said, okay, I'm coming up with 15 categories just so I keep myself straight and can talk
Right.
intelligently about them. So like I say to people, because they're sitting there maybe looking at you with a question mark, and I say, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you've had dreams where your
Mm-hmm.
grandmother came through. I'm sure you've picked up the phone or you've thought of a person and that person calls you within a couple days
Right.
and they all go yes. I said these are the small examples, and then imagine if you just trusted a little more and given
Mm-hmm.
some of the tips, you too could have more messages.
Right.
And it's like anything, not everyone is interested. I tell everybody can sing, maybe not on tune, but you
Mm-hmm.
may not get on a stage and be paid for it, but
Right.
you can sing even if it didn't sound that good. And everybody has intuition. It's just a matter of how much you're interested, how much time you're going to
Mm-hmm.
spend paying attention, learning from it. And
Mm-hmm.
most kids, like my grandkids, I mean, I taught them all about manifesting, about using a
Mm-hmm.
pendulum, understanding and trusting divine energy. So it's kind of like if we open up to it and make it part
Mm-hmm.
of our lives, it will be an important part of your life. So
Right.
I'm just about, and I do free discovery calls if people want to talk to me about
Okay.
what they want to do. So because I get it,
Mm-hmm.
um, people people don't know,
Right.
and
They
I
don't.
didn't know. And that's why I did all this work, because I remember what it was like to just question myself and go,
Mm-hmm.
I think she's talking to somebody else. I don't think I'm a medium. And then
Right.
bingo, I just surrendered and said yes. And I heard one night, do you want to see the
Mm-hmm.
dead people? And at first I said, no. I was shaking my head no in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't get it out of my head because I knew. I said,
Mm-hmm.
and I was talking to God and I just said, hey, if you think that you would like me to do this and I could actually do it, I'm in, because I knew how much I was helped. I got my life back. Yes, I missed
Mm-hmm.
my mom, but
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I had my life back and I could keep going.
Mm-hmm.
It saved my life, actually.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you a controversial question.
Okay, great.
What's your perfect client?
Oh, my ideal client. Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
This is my favorite question. One, I love to rock and roll. So I'm actually looking for the most evolved people out there. I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
for people with the biggest goals because I get to come along. I don't want to go home
Right.
hum. So I want people to it's okay that I want them to know that, okay, you're going to be doing things differently. I expect them to, if I'm asking them to do a little homework, not too
Mm-hmm.
much, but I have high expectations. All my
Mm-hmm.
teachers in my early, through school, I always love the ones with the highest expectations, because then they
Mm-hmm.
ran a type ship and then we can just have more fun than a barrel of monkeys. And that's why all my clients, I mean, I've been doing this a long time.
Right.
Everybody doubles their income just like that. Why? Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a great teacher and I don't mess around. I call them on it.
Right.
Hey, if you didn't do what I'm asking you to do after the second week and you're just kind of mumbling around, I have
Mm-hmm.
let's call it a come to Jesus moment. And I say,
Mm-hmm.
look, you're paying me decent money. I have a reputation to get going. Let's go, or let's not even work together, because
Right.
I'm just that girl. I grew
Right.
up on a farm. It's like, I'm not messing around.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
I love it.
that's the harder thing in the metaphysical businesses and coaching industries, is to go, this is what you're doing. I told you to leave him the hell alone. That man not messaging him, I am in him, liking his post. Leave him alone. Step him to the side. Focus on you.
Yes. I
And
am
then they
so
come back and
direct.
they're like, it's he's not calling. Why would he? Yeah, I amped him 15 times today. His texts are now on silent, and his Instagram looks like he bled over it.
Aeson, I'm hearing this and I'm going to tell you, I so
Mhm.
relate. There are times when the only time I ever get frustrated, honest to goodness,
Mhm.
is that those kinds of examples when people
Mhm.
come to the calls and they have wimped out and they are messing with me. And
Mhm.
I am my grandkids know this. I run a
Mhm.
tight ship. And
Mhm.
so I call my clients, like one client. I love all my clients, but he was
Mhm.
messing around and he was, making a joke of everything. And so then I say, how coachable are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I want to know right now. And actually, I try to ask that in the beginning before I
Mhm.
even, they hire
Right.
me. I say, how coachable are you? And if they don't say a 7 or above, I
Mhm.
tell them, because most people say 7. I said, oh, thank God. Because I said, if you had said a 6, it's not going to go anywhere. So I said,
Right.
you have to acknowledge that you are going to be
Mhm.
doing things different. And I said, and we're going to have fun. I mean, when people start, I don't care who they are. But if I could, I just ask them point blank. I'm very direct. And I say,
Mhm.
are you okay if we would double your income in a couple months? Because they just look at me and I go, tell me now. Because if you're going to
Mhm.
have a problem with that, just go ahead and tell me now. And they go, no, I'd be fine with that. I go, just see, people are they have such low
Right.
expectations. They're
They do.
dumbed, everybody's dumb everybody down. And I don't do that.
No,
So I
and
run a very
you
tight
can't do
ship.
that. You can't do
You
that with
can't.
clients. You can't do that with
No.
coaching clients, psychic clients. Dumbing it down doesn't help. Giving
Right.
them fluff doesn't help. And I think
Yes.
a lot of times in our industry, it gets thrown that way. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, that's cute, but that's not, because I coach psychics, like how to
Yes.
run their business, how to get your stuff
Oh,
done.
that's
And
exciting.
they'll be like, oh, I don't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do it this way.
Yeah. Yeah. And because you've been down the road, they
Mm-hmm.
should say, great, I've got some ideas. Now, I always tell people, fine tune it to your way,
Mm-hmm.
but let's go. And like when I'm doing I do divine alignment. I don't
Mm-hmm.
always call it healing because I don't get medical. I'm just bringing in
Right.
divine energy. So I call it divine alignment, but I say, you know, who wouldn't want to learn how to do that? So when I'm talking to people, I say, hey, do you have kids? Do you have grandkids? I said, oh, I have 8 grandkids. And I said, can you imagine how helpful it is to be able to, they're falling down, they're hitting their heads, kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you want to learn how to do this. I don't know a person that shouldn't learn how to do divine alignment and really start getting some helpful messages.
Right.
You're really, I just feel like people are making life so difficult
They are.
without it. So let
They
me
are.
ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to tell you something. I
Mm-hmm.
told my husband the other day,
Mm-hmm.
a client was just, kind of bugging me. And I said, I am so impatient. I feel like that maybe I should just take a day off or something. And so I do. But
Mm-hmm.
I try to be light and helpful. But I think it's okay to tell people where you're at and say, it's frustrating to me for somebody to keep
Mm-hmm.
coming to the call and dropping the ball.
Right.
I no more dropping the ball. So but I just, how do you kind of say, do you kind of go, oh, okay, I need to go for a walk? Or how do you, don't you
With
get
me, I
impatient with,
flat out say it. You're not listening to me.
right?
You
Yes.
either button this ship up,
Yeah.
put that phone in the refrigerator, under the bed, wherever you got to do it.
Yeah.
If you want this. If you don't want this, then, what's your
Yeah.
problem?
I
What
really
are you
like,
calling me for?
yeah. I really like that, Aeson, because I think
Mm-hmm.
I relate with you because I don't like my time wasted and I don't like wasting other people's time. I work with very successful business
Mm-hmm.
owners and I'm that girl. I used to do
Mm-hmm.
30-minute calls, full
Mm-hmm.
coaching because I designed that. I designed my
Mm-hmm.
coaching for my ideal client and they're busy. They don't have time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's, how much paperwork do you want to do? I make things very easy and I'm just, um, I think I like your feedback on that because
Mm-hmm.
I think there's too many coaches that go, oh, uh-huh. No,
Mm-hmm. Nah.
they don't need your
It's like,
sympathy if they're paying you
right.
money.
not only do they not need my sympathy,
Yeah.
it's their money they're wasting.
Exactly.
Why are you arguing?
Exactly. I love
You
that.
know, why are you arguing? Why you got problem? Like, go to someone else that'll sit there and go, "Oh, poor baby." Y'all and then this one draws me up. Y'all sole contract is almost over. You just got to wait it out. And it's like, no, I can end this contract at any time. There's fine print below that says may terminate as necessary within this life path.
Yes, I love that. You really have to. You have to have a sense of humor. I mean, I will just vent to myself. I'll look in the mirror and say, "Okay, help me right now," because I'm going to count to 10. But
either that, or you got to write a tweet.
Yeah,
doesn't say anything.
And
or blue sky. That's like, if your man is not texting you, why are you texting him?
Oh, I know. I mean, we have to help with. I always tell people, I said, do you realize this is going to help your relationships? It's going to help your health. It's going to help your business or your career. And for heaven's sakes, it's going to get you into all the parking places you need. And I mean, I bought this chair. I said, I needed a new office chair. Who has time to go shopping and look at all 20, how many, furniture stores there are?
Basic same.
I'm driving down the highway and I said, oh, you're going to find your chair in this store. I told my husband, I said, turn in there. I walked in. I couldn't find it. The guy was busy. He was on the phone. The gal was in the office. And so I was going all over. It was a big store. I was all over the place. I said, dang, I can't find it. I was getting ready to just kind of leave. I was taking a break. The woman said to me, see, this is how people are prompted. People say, how do you get everything? I said, people are prompted by their angels. They don't even know why they're saying stuff. But she said to me, did you see that ivory, really kind of cool, kind of modern looking chair? I go, no, but that's what I'm looking for. She said, it's right over there. It's like behind that thing. I walked over, there it was. I bought it, brought it home just like that. So
I've had similar things happen. Not this chair, but the chair before this. I wanted a chair that because I'm in my chair 16 hours a day sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how busy I can get. But, and I'm like, I want a chair that's soft, that's comfortable, that's easy to move, and I want to pay no less than $150 for it.
Yeah.
That's the thing I've added to send my guide shopping for me, is I tell him the price I want.
I love that.
Yeah, and then I'll get a draw like, I need to go to Staples. We got to get paper anyhow. And walk in, they got the chair. I think it was like $500 originally. I don't know. My co-host has it now. It was marked down, 120 out the door, already put together. I didn't have to mess with it because I hate putting together crap. Like A1
exactly.
Like, when did the manufacturing stop with
putting stuff together?
Yeah. Like, I don't need to be part of your assembly line.
Exactly.
But no, that's happened all the time. Clothing, like I'm getting ready for summer, so it's time to pick out the outfits for summer. And it's like, I need some jean shorts. Well, driving down. Like, can you just drive for me? Like, can we get it to where the guides can just take over the driving?
I think they kind of do. And this is what I love, that we're on this part of the subject. It's like, I believe that to somebody to change, to have something different happen in their lives, you have to have a big enough carrot. In other words, and that's why I love these examples. Like, you're going to save so much time shopping. If you're looking for a romance partner, you're going to save yourself so much trouble if you start really understanding energy, divine energy, listen to your intuition and messages, because it's kind of like people are so used to they dropped it when they were 8, but they are sitting there like, why would I do this? And that's why I love talking to business owners. I say, oh my gosh, let's say you've got 3 people that you just interviewed for a new sales manager or an assistant. I don't care what it is. I said, and they all seem really good. I'm going to get my pendulum out. I'm going to do some energy testing on that. Why wouldn't I? Because divine energy is going to be they know things we don't know. And so I really like to talk about the carrots. And that's why I say I want to know what people want different in their life. So, for example, this one gal, she was, I would really do want a guy. She was 50, in her 50s, and didn't have a guy. And I said, let's put that on there right now. What else do you want? Well, I need to make, whatever it is, $20,000 a month. I said, let's get that on there. And she goes, you're not afraid of that. Why would I be afraid of that? This is a divine energy system that's going to bring you everything you want if you do it right. And and so I really jump into what is it that they want, because I want to know. And then I start getting excited. I start feeling that energy and I go, let's go. And I really don't think most coaches that don't have this kind of abilities that they're using, everybody has the abilities, but where we're really leveraging these abilities. And I said, I love it when I meet other people like you, Aeson, that you're really helping leveraging, you're coaching as well. And, it's a huge benefit, huge.
It is a huge benefit, and coaching in general is a huge benefit. Your book's really good. I love the 5-step process. Like, that's not, it's not like, okay, let's go. I hate when authors do this, and you'll know the ones I'm talking about because they're also the ones that write the textbooks. And you have to get
and you're asleep
English dictionary and look it up.
You're asleep by 0.14b.
Yeah, and it's like, can we not?
Yeah.
It's a full step plan. It's laid out. It's in plain English. This is a weekend read, but you can probably put it into action in what? Give them 30 days to get through it.
Yeah. I've read that book 15 times and that's with editing. So the average person can read that book in about 8 to 10 hours. And I say, that is going to give you, I cover manifesting, I cover the pendulum, I cover so much and so many, the big things, the little things, divine healing, the whole, experiences of healing have been fantastic. And I just say, look, this, I guess I was born to write it. And I wrote that thing, 84,000 words in 4 weeks.
Not bad, not bad. You done real well there.
Well,
now, did you pants it or did you outline it?
Basically, I started writing the examples, the stories of divine intervention when I had about 50. I put over 80 in the book. And the hardest thing I had to do about that book was to decide where to start. But I knew I had to capture people. So I started with kind of that divine reading that kind of set the seed is planted, is what it's called. So, and then I realized, I was told energetically that, okay, that's when it maybe really got going. But then you've got to, it was like me looking back at my life. Okay, when I was 8, when I was 5, one of my grandmas said to me, she goes, oh, Karoleen has a secret. And me being so literal, I was like, no, Grandma. And I, taught to not lie. I said, no, Grandma, I don't have a secret. And she just looked at me. That's why we never had this conversation. But I have a hunch that my father, and my paternal grandmother were highly intuitive, but nobody was talking about it.
Of course not. And you have to debate on 2 things. One, if it was not socially acceptable. Like with my grandmother, it was not socially acceptable. We live in a mining town. That ain't happening. But she typed readings and sent them out. She answered in the back of an old magazine looking for someone that can do readings by mail.
Yep.
That's how she supported, 8 kids, built 2 homes, bought 2 Cadillacs, all in cash. And granted, this is the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yes.
With no husband.
Wow.
Yeah. But, so you have to debate whether it was culturally acceptable. And then if it was anything different. Like, we really didn't start getting literal until the late 70s.
Yeah. And I wasn't quite there. I started reading probably in my 20s, and then I was like, oh yeah, exactly. But I did read the Bible, front to back, and I tell people, I teach the spiritual gifts, 1 Corinthians chapter 12. and it's right before the 13th chapter, the love chapter. And it talks about the discernment of spirits. It talks about healing. It talks about, well, the talking of tongues, which I actually have one friend that does that.
Right.
And so it actually outlines it all. And, you know, I also talk about the mediums, where they talk about in the Old Testament where the mediums, you know, they threw them out. But guess what? They were throwing the priests out too. Why? Because where were the mediums? They were in the temple. They were given spiritual heightened gifts. Okay.
Right.
They were utilizing them, but they maybe were saying, well, me. I give credit. It's not me doing it. I'm just allowing it.
But let the battle pop up, and who do they go and hunt down in the village across the hill?
It's the helping people. So that's why I said, I really have read the Bible word by word, cover to cover. And what I discovered
clarifying, just to clarify, because there's 26 different ones.
Yes.
You're talking King James.
I'm talking King James and the newer ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to clarify there for all those
for anybody
ones that want to go nitpicky.
Yeah, and I don't. I'm like, I just want to cover myself and say, hey, this is good enough for me. Everybody's going to make their own decision.
See, I always liked Acts. Like the book of Acts. Like anyone who starts throwing the Bible and going, oh, what you're doing is wrong, go back and read the day of Pentecost in Acts.
Okay.
It tells you everything right there. Laying on hands, speaking in tongues, divine healing, can drink poison and it not harm you. I'm not testing that one, but there are some here in West Virginia that chooses to test that one. Go for it if you want to.
Yeah.
You know, having demand over beast.
Yeah.
All those things are covered in that divine healing book. All of those things are covered in the psychic industry. All of those things are covered in coaching of supporting thy brother. And speaking in tongues, please. That happens every Sunday night about 7:45 at any Pentecostal temple you want to find.
And I love that. And I just keep telling people over and over. I say, look, I was just at a little potluck in our building last night, and all these people were just acting like it was just so unusual. And I think I had lost patience. But I looked at them all and I said, stop making it so hard. And I said, and stop acting like you don't know what I'm talking about. Right. And I said, I just don't have, I'm talked out. I'm not going to arm wrestle anybody at this point.
Yeah. And that happens. And, you know, or you get the ones that are like, but watch and see if you don't start getting knocks on your door probably within, I'd say 2 weeks. Do you have time to talk? Oh, I just thought I'd drop by and bring you a pie and let's have a conversation.
Oh, yes. I just spoke to 30 women and I thought, you know, my talk was called Intuition is Your Superpower. And at first 5 people signed up and I thought, fine. Well, they just kept coming in the door. There's about 30. And I said, perfect little group. And I couldn't believe how many people afterward wanted a reading. And I was thrilled. I was just really thrilled how open they were and how interested they were. It was amazing, delightful.
Yeah. And please tell me you followed Aeson's visa rule.
The what?
Aeson's visa rule. You never leave home without your Visa, MasterCard, or Discover. And you never leave home without your business cards. Because I'm telling you, I've gotten clients
just by
in Tractor Supply.
Yes, I know. I love my little my business card, and I'm passing that. I went into Whole Foods today to get, what was I getting? I don't even know. Some potato chips, I guess. And the gal looks so. I read her energy. It was just so beautiful. I just said, "Hey, do you like to read?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I have a little card. I wrote a book." She was so darling, and there it went. I give my card to anybody that wants it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, darling. Well, tell them where to find you.
Okay. Well, you can go to my website, Karoleen, Karoleen Fober, FOBER.com. And you can go to Amazon and get my book, Opening to Divine Intervention. And you can do
Is it Kindled?
Yes, it is.
Okay, are we going audio for our audio listeners?
I haven't got that done yet.
Okay.
That's on my list for this year. But you can also do a free intuition assessment. So KaroleenFober.com/quiz. And that is it's 6 questions, takes 2 minutes.
Cool. Awesome, darling. Well, thank you for having coffee with me, and I will see you later.
Thank you.
Come back when the deck comes out.
Oh, yes. I like that idea too. I had a blast. Thank you so much.
Awesome, darling. You have a great evening.
Okay, thank you.
Love diving into metaphysical topics, psychic insights, and lively discussions? Now you can help keep the conversation going. By becoming a Patreon supporter of The Psychic Coffee Shop, you'll gain access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and special perks just for our patrons. Join our community and ensure that your favorite psychic show continues to thrive. Your support helps us bring more enlightening episodes, special guests, and deep dives into the world of the unseen. Become a patron today and enjoy a cup of wisdom with us every week. Click the link to join the baristas and unlock exclusive content. Thank you for your support.
Unlock your full potential with Aeson Knight's life coaching. Are you ready to take control of your life and manifest the future you deserve? Aeson Knight, a seasoned life coach and master psychic, is here to guide you on a transformative journey. Whether you're navigating personal challenges, career transitions, or seeking spiritual growth, Aeson's life coaching services offer tailored guidance to help you achieve your goals. With Aeson by your side, you'll discover the tools to overcome obstacles, embrace your true self, and create a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. His unique blend of spiritual insight and practical coaching empowers you to turn your dreams into reality. Ready to make a change? Book your session today and start your journey to a more empowered, balanced, and joyful life with Aeson Knight. Click the link to schedule your first session and step into your power.
Are you ready for an electrifying podcast experience that keeps you coming back for more? Join Aeson Knight every week as he takes you on a journey through captivating shows, each exploring unique and fascinating topics. And here's the best part. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode where you can get your burning questions answered live on air, absolutely free. Whether it's relationship advice, career guidance, or mystical insights, Aeson's podcasts have got you covered. When you subscribe, you become part of a vibrant community, engaging directly with Aeson as he shares his wisdom and leaves you feeling empowered and enlightened. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation. What you'll get by subscribing: Monday 5 p.m. Metaphysics. Today, soulful conversations with Aeson Knight and Firefly, exploring the essence of metaphysics in today's world. Tuesday 8 p.m. The Psychic Coffee Shop. Dive into current events with a psychic twist, featuring special guests and thought-provoking discussions. Friday 9 p.m. The Mountain Bears Podcast. Lively discussions from a gayish, techie-ish, bearish perspective with Aeson and Joe. Sunday 5 p.m. Psychic That Plans. Get a weekly tarot energy overview and time management tips from Aeson Knight. Click here to subscribe now and never miss an episode. By subscribing, you're not just tuning in, you're joining a community of curious minds and ensuring you're always in the loop with Aeson's insightful and interactive shows. Don't wait. Hit that subscribe button and get ready for an amazing podcast journey.
Ready for an enchanting journey of self-discovery? Join Lord Aeson Knight in our Wicca courses. Unveil the secrets of Wicca. Explore deity relationships, rituals, and more. As a third-degree high priest, Aeson Knight guides you toward empowerment and enlightenment. Enroll today and take your first step into the magical circle. Click the link to begin your journey.
Psychic Saturday. Get 50% off with Aeson Knight every third Saturday of the month. Don't miss out. Book now.
Good evening, Joe, honey. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I could stop sneezing. I foresee Anna somewhere around here.
I know, right? Oh, gotta love allergies, right?
Oh, especially new ones that we're adjusting to. That was a great interview, though.
It was. It was a very good interview.
Yeah. All right. So we've had some lively debate going on.
Yeah.
Well, some of them.
Hey, Brenda.
There's been a common question. There's been a common thing going on with a few new viewers, and I want to take a moment to explain this to them.
Yeah.
Why does Aeson require your birth date? Why, privacy concerns, whatever. Here's why. You book an appointment with me, you're going to give your birth date. Mm-hmm. You call me on a network. You're giving the network the birth date. You're also giving me the birth date when you connect with the call. Here's why. It's not for identity. It's not so that we can Facebook you. It's none of that. It's because of some lovely behaviors that actually recently costed, one of the larger networks $160,000.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because it's one of those things. You are legally required to only read on people who are over the age of 18. Now, there are some countries in the world that will let you get a reading at 16. To keep everything simple, we follow the 18 and over. And there. Because the legal ramifications are not clear. If it is legal for someone to get a reading in their country, but you're performing the reading in a different country, which law applies. And so we're not getting into the debate. We're not doing that. The U.S. is not what. Shannon points out. Hey, Shannon, that the U.S. is not one of those countries that allows you to get a reading at 16. So we're not getting into that debate. But so 18 and over only. Now with that, and I know that if you're coming from TikTok, if you're coming from other places, you may not be used to this. There are a lot of TikTok psychics out there. And I'm not trying to throw off. I'm really not. I'm not trying to just like wholesale say that if you've dealt with TikTok psychics, they are 100% bad. What I'm saying is there are a lot of people that found viral level success without necessarily having the tools to do the job in a way, to do the work in a way that was legally protective of themselves.
Right.
And so there were a lot that were not paying attention or asking the question or caring whether the people they were doing readings for were of legal age. So that's a problem in and of itself. But besides that is the fact that, yes, I understand you can sit here and you can tell us, the month and day, and then tell us your age, which we have that going on in the comments. The whole point is you have to make the full legal statement of what your age is.
What your birth date is.
Yes, the exact birth date.
Yes.
So that basically releases Aeson from liability. And that still doesn't guarantee you a reading, because here's what happens, because let's play fuck with the psychic, okay? And you want to come in here and start lying about your age. And so you give us a birth date that says you are 25. Not a problem. I'm 25. Don't screw with your psychic. Don't screw with any psychic.
Right.
Because what you may find out happens is if you're not 18, he starts picking up on this energy of a not 18-year-old. You're still not getting a reading, or that reading's going to get cut short quickly for an age issue. Because it's like, wait a minute.
Right. But I want to go on the other side of this, the side that clients don't see.
Yeah.
Yahoo, whatever. Lovely federal investigators are starting to do this, and they're going to do it more.
More than likely, yes.
Because it is federal law in the U.S. that someone in the U.S. performing a psychic reading, that person must be 18 years of age or older. And when they don't do that, for every question, it's $5,000.
Yeah. It's not cheap.
No.
It's not cheap.
Every question. Does he love me? One question, $5,000. Will we stay together? 2 questions, $10,000. 3 questions. 3. Just the word yes cost me $5,000.
Mm-hmm. So that's not a thing we're doing.
No.
It's I don't know how successful you think Aeson is. I will just blatantly say on air, we ain't got $5,000 for nonsense.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a bitch. I'm also a bitch to every psychic that I work with. That no, you're paying my coaching fee. That isn't $10,000. But that yes, no question just cost you $20,000.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's not an FA that we want to FO.
Well, no. You know,
and we don't recommend it.
No, I really don't like men in black suits and ties showing up at my door going, so here's your paperwork. We're taking your computer with all your access information. And here's the bill that we already show that you owe, because there's no debate this.
No.
It's the same as if someone sells you a pack of cigarettes in a grocery store and they don't ID you, even though you look 40.
Yep. Well, and usually in those situations, well, they looked of age.
Mm-hmm.
They looked 21. And it's like, that's not how that law's written.
Right.
You have to look over 40.
Mm-hmm.
And even at that, no one's screwing around anymore. Like,
right. No, that's why you now get it scanned.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, honey, that stuff is gone. That stuff will be held in evidence till probably the Smithsonian takes it.
Or it's already been destroyed.
One of the two.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the realities here, is that, like, don't screw with the feds.
Yeah.
Like, why? Don't screw with federal law.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying, like, oh, but totally go screw with state law. Don't screw with that either.
Right.
But, like, if you were going to have a moment, like, there's kind of an order of operations. Federal is bad. State is bad, but not quite as bad. City, county, municipal, like, don't screw with the breaking laws, but really don't screw with federal law. Like that like,
and Brenda brings up, I'm still waiting for my 6 computers, but that's where these laws came into effect. Oh, Shannon, sorry.
Yeah.
Brenda, happy birthday. That's what's on my mind.
Okay. Happy birthday, Brenda.
Yeah. But, this is where all that came into effect. Because they weren't doing any of that. There were no liabilities or laws there.
Yeah, Brenda points out the stuff they took from the Miss Cleo thing wouldn't run anything now. That's probably very true.
You'd be surprised.
All right, but now, and Shannon brings up the good point. There's a struggle. Like, some of us in our 40s are looking 20. And some of us in our 20s are looking way older than 40. I think this is one of those things. I don't know what happened, but it used to be 40-year-olds looked 40. I mean, plus or minus a couple of years, sure, but for the most part, 40-year-olds looked 40.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell happened.
Right.
It's all screwed up.
Right.
And I've encountered that in more than a few occasions where I'm just kind of looking around like, what the hell happened?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know of people who look like they are 60 when they are 40. I know people who are 20 who look like they should be, putting in their Medicare paperwork. What the hell?
Right. Good preservatives.
I mean, blaming drugs is one thing. And granted that can cause a lot of issues that do cause the signs of advanced aging.
Right.
Like drugs are bad, kids. But alcohol is also horrible. But some of it isn't even that.
Right.
It really isn't. Some of it is just, I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't tell you what occurred, but like your aging went, or good for you. You're like 65 and you look like you're 30. Like, awesome job. You're doing great. I'd like, please let us know what your skincare routine is.
All right. So let's rock into.
Oh, yeah. So Shannon says our mamas knocked us into eternal youth when they kept knocking us into next week.
Exactly. They knocked us out of time.
There you go.
All right. So let's find out if you're an asshole.
All right. Am I the asshole for blaming my nephew for using my credit card without my permission? So let me start off with, I'm pretty bad at checking the details on my bank statements, but recently something wasn't right. So I went through every single one for the past year, and there were over 100 charges from PlayStation. I only had 4 purchases on my 2 PlayStation accounts in a single year, so I panicked as someone had my credit card info. In all, the total charges were around $1,500. I contacted both of my siblings whose kids have accounts and asked nicely if their kids may have purchased anything using my bank account before I make a dispute. Both said no, so I went ahead and called both PlayStation and my bank. The bank was able to charge back the past few months, and the rest is under investigation. Well, a few days later, I get a frantic call from my teenage nephew who says his PlayStation account was permabanned. I asked him if he was sure he didn't buy anything with a credit card after I gave him a several $100 PlayStation gift card for his birthday this summer to spend on stuff. He again denied. So I have his email logins, and sure enough, it was purchases he made to his account. All the stuff he plays. Then he starts to say maybe he bought a few items here and there. Now my sister is pissed at me. She says I must have added my credit card info to buy him something at some point in time, and it was all my fault he was making purchases from my card. If it were her credit card, she'd get an alert. Never that he may have taken my credit card info. No, she doesn't want him to lose his account, and she said she'll call PlayStation to pay for it all. She said he always asks and gets her alerts, and she gets alerts and doesn't understand that I didn't. So I shouldn't blame him. I said, well, he knew he was spending someone else's money, so why is it my fault? And that he stopped asking her for permission to make purchases because no one stopped him. After that, she said I was blaming her kid for everything. So, am I the asshole here?
No.
I may be controversial. I think I'm going with everyone's shitty here.
Okay.
Because ultimately, here's my problem with OP's thing. We jump pretty quick from, someone else has my credit card info, but already have suspicions of my siblings' kids, my nephews. I gave him a gift card, but I don't ever remember giving him my credit card information. I have his email logins, purchases he made to his account, all the stuff he plays. Then he starts, Here's the thing with PlayStation accounts that bugs me. Is for a lot of people, and in a lot of situations, people will share their account information, their login. And another viable explanation for this is your nephew left his account logged in on your PlayStation, because I'm going to bet he has been over, he has logged into his account, he has been playing, maybe y'all were sharing a game, maybe he just didn't bother to sign out.
Well,
how likely is it that you went to make a purchase, added your credit card information, because it's your purchase for what you wanted, you're not paying attention, or you didn't care that it was his account. Maybe you thought you were doing him a favor, bought whatever they are, a DLA, DCA, whatever it is, an expansion of the game. And you have just, you thought you were making a one-time purchase, you ended up saving the account with the credit card info. I think that's a very viable explanation for what happened.
Okay. Well, I've got more.
Meanwhile, this is everyone should hear. This is not, OP is the asshole. Meanwhile, without, I think, necessarily thinking through what was going on, his mom quit getting alerts because your credit card's on the account. He may have been asking her for permission, getting the permission, and not realizing what a card. DLC. Thank you. I knew it was 3 letters and started with a D and ended in a C. I couldn't remember the middle one. Thank you, Shannon. I'm just struggling with, there is a small possibility as a teenager, he kind of did everything right on the wrong card. And your real issue is going to be with your sister. For not making the connection that he's asking for permission, but she's never getting charged. That she's not getting the alert. So ultimately, you're sitting here angry at your nephew for your sister's lack of responsibility and follow through. And ultimately, she's willing to take responsibility for it. But you're ready to turn this into, he stole your credit card information.
Okay.
I don't know that that's the first most logical step to get to. I mean, is it possible? Absolutely. Something tells me in the way you're posting, you don't really think that's what happened either.
No.
But I think you're not considering other possibilities.
All right. So here's the additional comments and information.
Okay.
Because I had written it down when helping set it up, my sister asked for me to do the setup. We both have the logins. Not like I just casually browsed through it. although my mistake was believing him and should have checked before making any calls. Next thing. Of course, the sister is terrible with technology, so she helped him set up the account. After the tally, most of the purchases were made the past 2 months. Last month was a holiday, so I figured I spent a bit much, but approximately 100 a month, which would be easy to go under any year's radar. So he's only spending about $100 a month until last month when he went hoggish. He was asked, he just knew it was a credit card that no one was stopping him from using. She had bought him a PlayStation gift card from Amazon. He claimed he only made purchases on those funds.
Okay.
I'm not even sure of it. The account has been there for years. It's possible he purchased it himself, but I typically buy gift cards for that stuff. And he lied twice about the matter. When asked, you don't remember confirming a purchase 100 times? So there are 100 purchases. Her problem is that her sister wasn't concerned about the $1,500K that he had spent on her account. More so, they were concerned about the PlayStation system there. All right.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I know, like, talking to, so to speak, old people, it seems like, well, how the hell could you not recognize that you spent more than you should have?
Right.
Like this $100. What I'm starting to question is, like, how much money is everyone giving this kid access to? Because, okay, so you have the uncle that gave him a several $100 gift card. So that's loaded to the account. You have his mother that's giving him gift cards, and those are getting loaded to the account. Then you have, you know, like actual purchases being made on credit cards attached to the account. I have to stop and wonder, did he really maybe just end up waiting until stuff became available and lost track? You know what I mean? Like, it sounds crazy, but it's one of those things. Like, I know in Second Life, like, you know, to an extent, if you're loading all this money in, like, I'm assuming he has birthdays and Christmas and all these other things. Grandma gets him a card, you know, other grandma gets him a card. His mom gets him a card. His uncle gets him a card. I don't know if there's other siblings, you know, or other aunts and uncles on the other side of the family. I don't know if the parents are not together or if they are. If dad's also getting him cards, if he's also getting cards for like a good report card. Could he have literally just lost track?
Well, see, this
and not gotten the concept, because again, we're being told teenager. I haven't seen an exact age yet.
Right.
Because that can also vary greatly for me.
All right. Let's assume he's 12.
Stuff like this.
Right. At minimum, he has to be 13 years of age to be on PlayStation Live.
Well, and to be a teenager, you got to be at least 13.
All right. So apparently, this is what I'm going to say happened, because we have a PlayStation in this house. We know how much those DLCs cost, because Invisible lets us know when he needs $200, or well, he used to. He hasn't yet. Since he got the job, he hasn't yet.
Well, and keep in mind, Invisible is also a fully grown adult that actually had a moment where he thought he spent $50 one time. There were multiple $50 charges back to back. Only to realize later, and I forget what the whole deal was that he thought he bought one $50 DLC.
Right.
But somehow and how it was worded, it was like 5 because it was some weirdo package.
Right.
And so he thought he was getting all 5 for $50. And he was. All 5 of them were $50. And it's like, that was super misleading.
It was. But I remember, because before Invisible had his own accounts, and probably the main card on that account is our family card. I'm betting she set the account up. Mama didn't have a card, whatever. She put her card on there to be the main account card. And he's just going through, oop, DLC buy, oop, new channel, new chapter. With the holidays being over, I know for a fact, they released like 5 different games, and every game had a DLC around Christmas. Why do I know this? Because it's the easiest Christmas presents to buy, Invisible. What DLC do you want?
Yep. So, well, and that also gets to, those were test months. See if you can get in trouble first. No one notices. Yep, go crazy. See, that's where I come back to. I'm wondering if it is the look at the timing of the post, and it's right around Christmas is when he went crazy. But so does every fucking gamer that gets gift cards. That is loading them to the accounts, buying new games, purchasing extensions for games. Literally, there is a potential here, and this is what also upsets me with the game market, is there's a lot of great companies that do it, that yes, they have additional content that you must buy, and it is expensive. Then there are companies that very much know that they're dealing with, teens and young adults who don't really understand what they're doing and are easily manipulated by weird language. And their whole game is just a money grab.
Right.
It's all it is. There is no way to call it anything but a money grab. And can very easily send people down a rabbit hole.
I don't know the game. It's the one with the silver wolf mount. That's all I can tell you. That's all I know, because that's all I heard about for about a month. They had a DLC. It was $500. And he about lost his mind. I about lost my mind when he even brought it up.
Like, it's not happening. Witcher?
Possibly. It's a knight with a little ghost thing running around in different layers and fighting things. And the first game, they literally destroyed everything you had bought at the end of the game, and the second game opens up and you get none of that back. You have to start back over.
Ugh.
Oh, so yeah.
That's the garbage I'm talking about. It's like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, no. That I could, no. Yeah, that's a love you now. But that is the problem, is even adults. Yeah. And I'm not talking like 21 years old, you're an adult. I'm talking like you got some gray hair. Not that Invisible will fully admit to it. Like, it's blonde. It's blonde. It's just really blonde. Yeah. Like, you've got some gray hair. it can be confusing. It can be overstimulating. Like, you can get so sucked in. Like, they're like, first, in some elements, they're committing psychological warfare. And that's on adults. They're buying into the idea that this DLC could, $500 is worth it. $500.
Right.
Like, no.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, I have problems spending 99 cents on a game.
Right.
Like, I truly, like, for Second Life has been my only exception to that. But like Android games, iPhone games, I like, the minute you start asking me to make a payment, I start really evaluating, like, is this going to be worth it? Right. Like, my max out is like, 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks. And once, are $17. Right around there, I start going, I don't think this is going to be worth it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, now I've had some moments where I've been like, this is a short-term fixation and I need this right now. And my max is $20. So whatever an enjoyment I can get for $20.
Right.
And then I'm done. Like, you're not going to set me up on a monthly subscription. You're not going to set me up with, buying the next diamond or gem pack or whatever it's going to be for this particular game. But I may, as a one-off, be like, this game's cool. I'm really enjoying this right now. I'm capping out at $20. I'm going to get my $20 of enjoyment, and then I'm out the door. But I think that's probably I don't even know what to call it at this point. The luck of not ever really getting so deep in gaming. Like, I'm not a gamer, if y'all can't tell. Not a gamer. I like my Second Life.
Right.
Not that much of a gamer.
Well,
I like games. I like that, but I just can't lock in like most gamers do. And I think it does create issues. And God knows if your credit card is attached to this.
Destiny and Destiny 2. Destiny was the one that was $500. Now, in all honesty, and to be totally transparent, yeah, I drop about $400 a month on a game.
You do.
But I fucking live there. I have an office there. I make money off of it.
Yeah, that's your Second Life experience.
Yep.
Like, you're DJing in World, running a sim, like running an office, like, yeah. Yeah, so Shannon says, my boss made a crack about child labor, and I piped up with, all the time kids play on Minecraft, they yearn to return to the mines. And he went, shh, a CEO might hear that.
A mind boss might hear that at your workplace. But anyhow, yeah, in all clarity, yeah, I drop about $500 a month on Second Life. Yeah, we own a Sims. We run a Sims. We also make money on that. Yep, I also extract a good amount of money from Linden. We're creating things. Last night I built a whole tip jar thing with a friend.
Yeah. Like, you're having a blast, and it's great. And we do have to segment out some of the costs. Some of it is the sim. That's the biggest part of it. And then the rest of it,
right,
is, that's your purchases in the game. So like, I think it's what, 300 and something on the sim.
We spend about 300 on the sim. We spend about 200 on streaming and clothes and houses and upkeep. And I'm getting ready to start fighting, so I'm going to need some fighter stuff. So I'm budgeting in for that. But at the same time, people live on our Sims. They pay us rent. So the expenses versus the cost. When we average it out, I spend almost nothing.
Yeah. At some, yeah. So you see the Wanna Buy Host Coffee Cash app. It's probably not coffee. It's going to be Second Life.
It'll be coffee in Second Life.
But yeah, no, I think there's a lot with that though.
Yeah.
That like it is easy though to have making one purchase turn into making another and another and another, and that's just on a normal day.
Well,
with a good game with a decent developer who's very clear in what you're paying for and how you're paying for it and what you're getting and what they're selling. Not to mention all the nightmare that comes with when game companies are not being very clear. They're exploiting the fact that you know their readers may not comprehend what they're paying and how much they're paying and what they're getting.
Right. Well, it's like the game that I recently quit because the Christmas event pissed me off.
Oh, Klondike.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so mad. Well, you've been mad for a while.
I've been mad for a while.
Christmas was the
straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah. But no, it was the crap cherry on the shit sundae covered in diarrhea. Right. That this game has become, because they reworked everything and were pretty clear about we want as much money from you as possible. We're gonna make you pay for everything. We are not doing any freebies. Everything's gonna have a come on to get you to buy more, spend more, get and it wasn't enough that you had to, because before you could work really hard and you could maybe grind through and get the whatever the special event was. Then it moved to, you're probably not going to get it, but that's why, you can go spend like $9.99. And you can do this and you'll get some additional things and it'll be great. And this was a really good event, so it also dropped a lot of cool stuff and helped you out throughout the game. Right. Then they literally went, no, you're going to pay for everything.
Right. And it's not like, okay, it's the Christmas brand. I'll drop a 20. I'll get, so many energy and all that. Like, big deal. I can handle that 20. And you think you've completed the event and you're going to get the building, bakery, whatever the special thing was. Nope. There's another level.
Surprise! We knew you liked, giving us your credit card information so much. To finish this event, you'll need to do it again.
Yeah.
No, that's the point where, no, it's ridiculous. And at some point, you also have to ask, and especially of children, are your players really engaging in any kind of informed consent?
Right.
Or have you moved this to a point that, and we're talking about the amount of, or the mental connection that buys a candy bar because you're having a bad day, or picks up, a glass of wine because you're having a bad day. Impulse purchase at like $100.
Right.
Pause. There is no child on this planet that is capable that I can even begin to get angry with. To be honest, to be fair, that I could, and I know if it were my money, you would feel differently. I don't know that I would.
I would be upset at because they did not remove the card. Like, that's mistake one. Mistake two is lying twice. One, are you charging it to my card? No, I haven't charged anything to your card. Mistake, and then lying number three is, I didn't do that. And it's like, it's your fucking account. Here's your DLCs. Every one of these DLCs was charged to my card. You never asked your mom the past 2 months for the card. You never asked me the whole year for any of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, but again, if you don't realize the payments are going through that way, like I'm arguing for a little leniency on the idea of while there is a potential, this teenager outright stole the uncle's credit card information, plugged it into the account, and had a field day after getting away with it for months and months on end. I don't feel like that's what's happening.
Right.
Now, I think there's a possibility the credit card, I strongly feel there's a possibility the credit card information was already there from the beginning. Something went wrong.
Right.
Like mom's credit card expired. The transactions moved over to the uncle's credit card. And because they kept going through, no one paid attention. Nothing changed in terms of end user experience. You had your online access. You everything was great. And then, now, do I think there's a minor possibility that he knew he did something wrong, but is stuck in, like, maybe I won't get caught.
Right.
Or figured it out just ahead of the uncle after he'd already done it and didn't realize it.
Right.
Again, that's where I'm kind of, everyone's shitty here. I think there's a lot of things that could have gone differently.
Right.
And it's like, circle back, circle back, circle back.
Yes.
Y'all got to start this conversation over.
So the poll is up. Feel free to vote. Let's bounce over and to Ask Reddit Psychic.
All right. Psychics who meditate. Do you ever find that your mind becomes more active with psychic downloads, whether it be in the clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, or other clair forms when you're in the middle of a meditative session? Do you feel you get more clear psychic insights when your mind is more silent, and has meditation helped your abilities become stronger or remain the same?
All right. So meditative state, meaning that the frontal lobe and upper quadrant of the brain isn't active, has to shut down. Like, even we have seen it when they have ran CT scans or whatever on CT or MRI, whichever one shows brain activity, that sections of the brain, psychic's brain shut down. If you do that on your pre-reading, you're going to have heightened availability. You're already into the alpha wave. You don't got to work to get to that alpha wave. So yes, they do strengthen your ability. They allow information to flow through. And yes, it is part of psychic self-care to meditate at least twice a day. Now, whether that's to rock music or that's to Tchaikovsky, that's your choice.
Fair enough.
All right. So let's see what the poll has to say.
No. Oh. We have a last minute evil comment, but what's the poll say?
The poll says that 66% believe that no, you're not the asshole, but 33% says total asshole.
Oh, see, this is my everyone's shitty here.
But we're still leaning towards asshole. It's more brown.
Well, there you go. So our evil comment. If you want to destroy the world. Sorry, my comments jumped. Oh, where is it? Oh, there it is. All right. So Brenda says, get even. Let mom pay it off. You have his login. Log in and delete his stuff. Log out.
It is permabanned. That was even super evil.
Which I think I want to quickly pay attention to that for a moment when we talk about permaban. That means that account that he is potentially, the nephew, has potentially spent hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Completely inaccessible. Content inaccessible.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand for those of us that are older, this isn't necessarily something we think of as the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Atari generation, the Nintendo generation, the like early PlayStation generations. Things happened. We lost our accounts. Our game data was like, we still physically had games. Our like memory cards got lost. Some games didn't store. Like, it's not an intense loss. It's a loss, and it's like, oh, I can't believe that didn't save, or oh, that memory card died. There is so much permanence currently to gaming.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same.
No.
And I would say, if you're going to pull the evil, at least let his mom know you're about to pull the evil or have pulled the evil, so mom can get a psychologist on standby.
See, I would have been more evil.
Destabilize kids now.
See, I would have been a little more evil. I would have gone in there, changed the username and the password, and locked the account until my house was clean, the lawn was mowed, and it looked like a golf course. The car was washed, the garage was cleaned out, and any other damn thing I could come up with for a fee of $1,500 at $5.25 an hour.
I'll give him actual human minimum wage.
That was minimum wage. Thank you very much.
$5.25?
Yes.
When are you doing this? Because if you're doing it today, that is not minimum wage.
All right. U.S. minimum wage is what, $7.13?
$7.25.
Yeah, it's $7.25.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Where are you? It's been that since like what, 2004, 2003. Like, I remember getting excited when I got a bump in pay just because minimum wage went up. There's a moment. Like, how broke of a poor broke college student was Joe? I remember getting excited about getting a pay raise because minimum wage went up.
Give me a minute here. Oh, that's United Kingdom.
Oh no, have we hit? All right, what are we looking at? Are you seeing the time?
Minimum wage. Yeah, it's been $7.25 an hour since 2009.
Oh, 2009? Jesus.
Yep.
Oh, wow, I'm old. That's what I just figured out. Because, no, I did experience that, though. But because there was, I did get a pay bump because minimum wage went up. But that was before $7.25 an hour.
Yeah.
So I didn't even get excited about $7.25 an hour. I got excited about whatever the hell it was at a point before that.
Give me a minute. So in 1975, it was $2.10. 76, it was $2.30.
I'm not that old. It wasn't that one.
All right. In 1990, it was $3.80. In 1995, it was $4.25. In 97, it was $5.15 an hour. Anyone guess what year I started working? In 2008, it went to $6.65 an hour. In 2009, it went to $7.25 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been that way since then.
All right.
So more than 20 years, people.
I know. It's a mess. But all right.
Yes, I agree. I really agree.
Yeah, I'm not saying there shouldn't be consequences for actions. I'm just saying that plunging a teenager into like a psychotic fugue state might not be your best option. Because that's unfortunately about where gaming is. Like that's not, and I don't think that's hyperbole to say that. I really think that from the like Atari, Nintendo, like early adopter gamer perspective, that it doesn't sound like that big of a deal. Until you like really get in the head of like what this is now. And it is so much more than those of us with early console systems ever experienced.
Right.
It's just leagues and fathoms beyond like you can do psychological damage.
Right.
Like we don't turn. I'm not saying don't turn it off. Like turn off the system.
Right.
But like destroying game systems, trashing accounts. Please be careful with that.
Lock them. Lock them. All right, so let's rock it. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you on Friday at 9 p.m. for Mountain Bears. Take it away, darling.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, and Bella. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes, and you guys have an amazing week. We'll see you later. Bye, y'all.
Bye.